I would add the little I would also say like the metrics because I kind of know
Mhm.
the statistics. Like one every 3 years, the typical American has like one accident. So just metrics like that, and then I think it just aside from all of that, it just takes some like charisma and some sort of spice on top of it, where it's like my personality is
Yeah.
adding some sprinkles, something like that.
Okay. Okay, okay, that's understandable. And so, even though you are an insurance account representative and you have your own day-to-day tasks to do, but other than that, do you have to collaborate with some other departments as well in this process?
Yeah. So just to let you know, this is customer relations representative. I just asked my boss, and that's what she told me. And so,
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's just a title, and I think that, I will be at insurance account representative soon. I mean, it really is just a title. But
Uh-huh.
as for other tasks, I mean, we have a lot of service tasks as well. Like if customers, want
It was
to.
basically I was asking about your collaboration with other departments. Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, um, let's see. So basically, State Farm, how State Farm runs, it's agency run. So all State Farm is
Mm-hmm.
owned by agents. It's like a small business model. And so I work with a couple other people. Um, they are they're like me, but they're more senior. They have more knowledge, and then they are certified in life. So
Mm-hmm.
there's that, and then also I guess I work with the claims department. If someone needs help with something or they don't understand something, we have different departments at State Farm, such as like fire and property and casualty. If I have any questions, then I talk to them. We also have an
Mm-hmm.
underwriting department, which is like eligibility for insurance. And if I have any questions, we work together to solve that and ask. And yeah,
Okay. Okay, great. And so do you have to conduct some sort of analysis as well
what
in
kind of
terms of data?
analysis?
Um, analyzing some sort of data to, like, is it a part of your day-to-day duties to analyze any sort of data, to conduct some analysis, to see some trends?
No, that's more like my boss's job. What she does
Mm-hmm.
is just kind of like understand where our marketing money should go, in terms of seeing, the the majority of our clients come from prior customers, come from referrals, come from statefarm.com marketing,
Mm-hmm.
etc. So that's more of my boss's lead, and she takes full control of that.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay. And so, since it's just a couple of months since you have joined, but still, have you been able to improve any process in some way? Like the company used to handle it in this way, but you thought that this could be a better way and you helped improve that process in some way?
Um, Frankly, I would say no.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
everything
So
is
anything
already
else?
fairly established and fairly established in the company to
Yeah.
make things run efficiently. So
Okay. Okay. I
yeah,
understand that.
yeah. And in that role, I just use Salesforce, Excel, and Outlook.
Okay. Okay. So anything else then from this particular role of yours?
No, not particularly, but I don't know how you want to do it, and I'm pretty sure you're like a super expert at this, but for me
Mhm.
personally, the things I want to highlight would be like one, being knowledgeable in the product, two,
Uh-huh.
the sales and analytics skills, and that
Mhm.
customer relationship and owning that household, um,
Mhm.
and three, the language skills that I bring, because that's like a big part of it. And
Yeah.
yeah, so
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. And so then you were the lead marketing intern at Horizon. So yeah. So again, I would
yes.
like to ask that what is that role all about?
Yeah, so this is kind of something I do on the side. And the startup, they haven't officially launched their product yet. So their app is still in the making. But right now, basically, um, from an overall standpoint, I manage two social media interns. I direct the direction and the type of content that we're going to put out on social media, on our social media
Mm-hmm.
such as LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. I write blogs for content on that website because the app hasn't launched yet, and so I saw that as a weak point of the company, and so I'm trying to get more content out there so that people, at least the people following us right now, know what it is.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I also, being the lead marketing intern, I do a lot of things such as designing, um, designing on Canva. I've created a project management Gantt chart to show people what we're
Mm-hmm.
going to do and at which stage we're going to do things. Um, so my boss, he also, goes to a lot of conferences and like etc. And so he gave me a pitch deck and with like two words on it, and I have to make it all beautiful and PowerPoint. And I guess that also comes from like my consulting experience and case competition experience, making things look beautiful and very clear and having a basic storyline. A lot of times we do like customer experience demos where we meet people in person and then we explain the product. Right now, the main goal is to just gain traction and gain followers and gain people using this app, especially since the um, project or the college process is going to start soon. This weekend, I did videography. I'm doing ads for them. Showing
Mm-hmm.
50-second things, inspirational things, put some music in the background and make it pop, um, and just kind of build our brand on those things that you don't realize are there, but just having
Mm-hmm.
that there for customers and just kind of building, I guess, building the brand and behind the
Okay.
scenes doing the brand strategy. Let me explain a little bit more about this app. So basically,
Yeah.
there's a lot of apps like College Board, Naviance, whatnot that help you go to college and they give you information about the ACT, SAT, and etc. But when you're actually searching for the college process, when you're in high school, you don't know what any of this is.
Yeah.
It just feels like there's like a billion things coming your way and that college application like it's everywhere and you have to write
Yeah.
so many. And so this app basically just simplifies like the college the college search process like that. So the app,
Mm-hmm.
it asks you a basic questionnaire. um, and we don't only consider things like your GPA and SAT because nowadays people look beyond that. We look at,
Yeah.
lifestyle, the size of the school, and safety of the school, and among other factors. And so, whatever you prioritize, and so we have this algorithm, it's called natural language processing. That's what the developers come up with. And basically, whatever you select in the questionnaire, whatever you value, you answer the questionnaire, and then all your answers and all of the colleges that the algorithm thinks best fits you is on there. So there's that feature. And so
Okay.
basically, instead of like, researching every college individually, you have like a list of like plus 10 colleges based on your criteria and what you were looking for, and based on, whatever. There are other features of the app, such as you can compare two schools, you can compare their major rankings. Let's say you want to do neurobiology, but you don't want to like search each individual school. So you just go on the app and it just tells you like, oh, this or the business school is ranked number 2 compared to the business school at Harvard, which is ranked number 1, for example.
Yeah.
Something so
Okay.
it's like that.
Uh-huh. So when is the company planning on rolling out this app?
They are rolling out this app at the end of this month, August.
Oh, nice. Okay. So have you people also conducted some sort of beta testing to just assess that what could be the positive, the impact on the customers, or just to check it by offering it to some people, or like, is it being tested as well, or do you have anything to do with that as well?
Yeah, so before I came on board, they actually did a
Mm-hmm.
lot of testing as for what the consumers valued. I mean, they went to high schools and
Mm-hmm.
did a lot of testing, what the consumers are looking for. You know, the simplicity is what it's like beautifully simple. You think it's complicated, but it's really simple and it just gets you exactly what you need. So that's kind of like a selling point and kind of what people before me has developed doing that consumer research. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because I always think that marketing something that isn't even rolled out is, I think, 3x more difficult, because you are trying to convince people to to gain traction about something that is not even there yet, and people still have to see what they're looking
Yeah.
out to.
So. Mhm.
Okay, that's great. But then, in such a case, if you think, you say that you increase Facebook likes by 57% and Instagram follows by 10%. So how did you enable that? Like, was it all your efforts towards creating the right content, or how were you
Uh-huh.
able to gain traction there?
Yeah, so I think Facebook and Instagram, they're very different markets, but they're related.
Yeah.
For example, Instagram is more for the younger audience, which is who we're targeting, like seniors in high school and people in high school who are ready to apply to college. So Instagram, you want to make things look beautiful, visually appealing, maybe some inspirational quotes, and things like
Mhm.
that, and just easy and just pretty. You don't like people on Instagram are not going to go to LinkedIn afterwards.
Yeah.
There's just a different market. As for Facebook, personally, we had a lot of our own teammates reach out and invite their friends. And
Yeah.
then because of that, and we're also like consistently posting every other day, we do
Mhm.
get a little bit of organic traction. We're starting to do that. And because the app hasn't rolled out, it's a different circumstance than having a marketable app where you can just talk about the features, show them the insights, and show them the user interface, and etc. But just right now, building the brand, and we're not just on the content piece. It's not just, hey, this is on the app, use this to find this. It's a lot of things like tips, like how to choose your college major, or what I learned from running, what I wish I knew before running starts,
Mhm.
or just things like that. So building that content piece, we're not just the app. There's a lot of
Mhm.
things that we want to also provide as well, but in a simple way.
Okay. And so the development team is the only one that you have to collaborate with, because it's according to them that you will design all the features for marketing. So other than that, any other team that you work with?
So the development team, and then the I think it's called UI, which is like the design team,
Yeah,
where
user
they look at
interface.
the
Yeah.
app and they design the inside of the app, and
Yeah, yeah.
features. And then I work with my boss, and I bring ideas to him, and he's like, okay, yes or no. And then so I'm in charge of the marketing team, and I work with I lead the two social media interns.
Okay, so yeah, so I also like to know about that, like, since we can highlight some aspects of leadership as well. So how do you, lead them? What does your leadership entail? And yeah, so what do you manage them on or direct them on?
I the content piece, the actual work, like for
Mm-hmm.
example, the more aesthetic, because I've done photography and videography before, the more aesthetic pieces, to Instagram and how to make it look nice. I mean, some things
Mm-hmm.
on there right now, like you don't put a filter on something and everything looks completely different. So
Yeah.
that visual piece, I think I'm quite good at. And then as for the content piece, I give them the creative um, freedom and empower them to write about like whatever they wish they knew before they started where they are right now, and then basically just oversee their work and check in with them. And so right now, I think at the beginning, since it was just the two of them, so there was not much like not much direction, but now, with that Gantt chart and with like all the things that we're doing and all the aspects of marketing, because it's not just so two-dimensional, just social media. I think they have a
Mm-hmm.
bigger vision on what's going on, and they feel like, oh, that we're doing something, and we're
Yeah.
doing something exciting, and that could potentially reach a lot of students. So
Okay.
I would
Okay.
say
Perfect.
empowerment, direction, um, and yeah, empowerment, direction, and um, wouldn't say critique because that's a little harsher term, but I would say like
Yeah.
suggestions and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. And so you have mentioned that demos.
Hello?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry, you cut off a little bit again.
Sorry about that. And I was asking that you have mentioned as well. So,
Um,
uh, again, is it for social media or what is the target audience for the demos?
let me go outside first. It's still a little bit unclear.
Okay,
1 second.
sure.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
yeah, perfectly. Yeah. Okay. So
Okay.
I was asking about these demos that you create. So I wanted to know that, is your target audience for demos also the social media people, or um, so who is your target audience for these demos?
It's the same target audience. As for Instagram and those demos, mainly people who are in high school. Um, so people that are in high school. As for Facebook, it's more of like a professional end, more like parents, some students. Because I don't expect high school students to be on Facebook nowadays
Mm-hmm.
because they're just mainly on Instagram, and so different facets are for different things. And LinkedIn is more like I know a lot of people. LinkedIn is more professional updates from the
Yeah.
company, so we will have like
Mhm.
when we get that app rolling out, we will have app um, like updates and things like that. Like, oh, we're launching a 2.0 app because that's what we're doing right now. And
Mhm.
then for LinkedIn, also some blog articles just in general, because some parents or some professionals might like to see those on there as well.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay, and so you have to create these demos and you have to make all this attractive content. So that must involve the usage of some really advanced tools or like some of the basic tools like Photoshop or stuff like that. So what are some of the tools that you are using for this process?
Yeah. So as for design, right
Mm-hmm.
now just Figma. Um,
Okay.
So I've taken a class before, so I understand how to use Figma, designing of the app, and I partake in that and just looking at the UI type. I've also done PowerPoint. I'm pretty good at that actually.
Mm.
Canva, which is like let's say I'm trying to do an inspirational quote with something a sunset in the background. I can do that with
Yeah.
Canva.
Mm-hmm.
As for the Photoshop, I don't exactly use Photoshop for this. It's not too complicated, and then I have to use Photoshop. So right
Mm-hmm.
now I'm just using just like basic like Lightroom photo editing. So just like for lighting and like etc. So it's not too
Okay.
complicated for now. Yeah,
Okay. Okay, great.
yeah, and then also let's see. Yeah, and I mean I hope that later on, as we get a little more technical, we get some users, we do some
Mm-hmm.
surveys, just fun things like that. I can convert some of that data into Tableau data visualizations for people as well. So
Okay. Okay,
Uh,
great. So then, Peony, anything else from this particular role then that you think we haven't discussed so far, or something that could be worth mentioning for the resume?
um, I mean, I think I had a pretty big role in the marketing and that our boss. So this is a startup at my school, at the University
Uh-huh.
of Washington, and so our boss does a lot of like the talking, going to school, spreading our app. The developers are part of their, their own development, etc. And so for me, I really
Mhm.
took on the role as the main marketing person, as and whatever I say kind of goes to the boss, and he's okay with it because he knows I know what I'm talking about in terms of marketing, and so just emphasize like the I think the leadership role that I took in this particular case, because I don't have much mentorship in this case. It's mainly just
Mhm.
it yeah, it's mainly just like leading and the social media interns, no one else on the team. It's a small startup, and when that happens, you just gotta wear multiple hats. And so no one else does the videography or the photography. So I just really take ownership in the video editing part of it, the photography part of it, and just the overall marketing material, because I know that like we want to put the best out there, and when we have it, then we can use that material for a long time.
Okay, okay, great. But since you have my email address with you as well now, so later if you think that you forgot to share something or some important detail was missed or you recall some information, so just send me an email and yeah, I think we can coordinate accordingly.
Okay, thank you so much. And I just have one quick question. So that's all I have to say about Horizon. Um, oh, actually, I just wanted to say like the creative piece too. Like I creatively directed and edited those
Uh-huh.
video content and the photography. So
Nice.
so there is
Uh-huh.
some artistic aspect to that. And then also like plan the ads and what people were gonna say. I wrote the talk tracks for that. I said, oh, you have to
Okay.
say it this way, with a question mark instead of like plainly, and
Yeah.
etc. So there's that. That's all I have to say about Horizon. My one question
Okay.
is, so on what we're talking about today, there's three roles. But
Uh-huh.
then I've also done like